Hi everyone, welcome to Diamonds and Doxies. My name is Leanne and I am so glad that you're here. This is my third WIP and chat, and by golly, my goal is to get it, if not right, better, okay? Anyway, I am very happy you are here, and if you've been here before, I am so happy that you decided to come back. It means a lot to me. And if you're new, as most of us are, please, feel free to subscribe if you would like to see more diamond painting content. Hit the like button. I usually hit it on the way in because I don't want to forget, but, and if you change your mind, then just unclick it. But anyway, I'm glad you're here, and we're going to do a WIP and chat. And I'm working on Gaia from Francesca's Studio Works. And let me show you where I am. I have just started right here. So I'm about right here. I hope you can see that. I'm having a hard time getting this camera situation all figured out. But anyway, it's got a lot of confetti. But Francesca does hand chart her kits, so it's not unnecessary computer rendered confetti, which some people like that. I do not. It drives me flip insane. But having said that, it still has a lot of confetti. So I'm going to be using my Enabler's Outpost pen. It's just the perfect size for me. Absolutely the perfect size for me. It fits my hand very well. And I have the Diamond Art Club single placer, and then the thin multi-placer, which is the 8, I believe. It's the 8. We'll see how long it lasts. I don't know. And then I also have the Diamond Art Club pen that comes in the new kit. And this here is the cap that goes on it. So you take this off. And then you've got a twist, and some putty comes up. My best advice to you that I have learned, this is just from what I have learned. You know how you have like a tube of thick salve, and you go to squeeze it, and it doesn't come out right away, so you squeeze it some more, and the next thing you know, it comes out, you take it off. No, it keeps coming out. Nope, you take it off, and it just keeps on. You're like, oh my gosh, stop already. That's kind of how this is, because that putty's really thick. So you only turn it just a smidge, not even a quarter turn, maybe like an eighth of a turn, and then just wait a second. And then you should see the putty come up. If there's any extra putty on here, you're gonna wanna take it off, because it will stick, all the drills will stick to it, and it'll be just a hassle. So that's been my experience. Thought I'd share that with you. Also have, this is my little tray. This is from Angie's Sparkle Addiction Art, I believe, and she's on Etsy. And I have my Francesca's tweezers. These are my favorite tweezers, honestly. And then I have some Diamond Art Club tweezers. I mean, you can see the difference in these two tweezers, right? I mean, yeah, you can see the difference. Francesca's is just so easy to place with. This here is my little trashy drill, and don't go, oh my gosh, that's a lot of trash. I mean, yeah, but it's not all from this kit. I don't, I just kind of throw things around, and it could be an extra drill that maybe flew off and I just picked it up and put it in here. So it's not necessarily just trash. So anyway, and then I've got my Yellow Dog Design tray, and I love it. This is the XL size. I like it a lot. It's a little dirty. I probably should clean it. And then I also have the new tray from Diamond Art Club. Do what makes you sparkle. And I mean, you can get an idea. I don't know, the camera might be too, but yeah, you won't be able to tell. But you can kind of see I hope you can see. Leanne, why do you do this to yourself? See, they're about the same as far as the height of the walls, which is good for me. So, this size here works great because there isn't a lot of multi-placing. So, I'll probably use this, but then I get tired of it and I move on to something else. So anyway, and then I'm using my art dots, the little pots, and those are my go-to. I love them. And anyway, am I forgetting anything? I don't think so. If I am, please let me know. Okay, the first symbol I've been doing every time is that little black with the white dot. And you might think, oh, that's 310. That's terrible. But it's not 310. It is 939. And guess what? It's terrible. It has by far the most trash out of all. They don't line up great. I mean, it's just, I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. But, you know, they're necessary, so here we are. And usually when I'm starting out like this, I like to go in and just single place with my tweezers. Just some, you know, the little single ones by themselves. That way I can kind of make sure I get them lined up better when I go to, you know, place more than one down, maybe 2 or 3 at a time. I don't know, just kind of gives me a good solid foundation, I guess. So anyway, how is everyone doing? It has been, you know, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but it's been so hot. So hot. And now, you know, I'm sure, I don't know, well, maybe you don't hear it on the news or you don't pay attention if it doesn't, you know, concern you at all. But, you know, they got a Hurricane Burl out there, you know, brewing. And, you know, that's just part of living on the Texas Gulf Coast. You know, hurricanes, tropical storms are just a way of our life. And it starts June 1st, starts our hurricane season. So, you know, we really hear most of our hurricanes come in August, late August and September. That seems to be when we get our big storms. But anyway, so of course, you know, people are already, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Well, and all the, you know, the models and stuff. I swear, if you look at the models, they go everywhere. You know, it's like, I think it's going in New England. I don't know. You know, it's crazy. So, you know, I'm just like, well, you know, you should be prepared, but that should be something you do at the beginning of June anyways. So, you know, I've got plenty of batteries. I did place a grocery order, but mostly, you know, I've got canned goods, but mostly I was like, you know, well, I need to make sure I have plenty of my cold brew coffee because, you know, I don't, you know, the stores can be closed down or something. I need to make sure I got plenty of my coffee and my creamer and, you know, praying that we don't lose power. But my son has a generator, so if we do, he can keep my stuff cold. But, you know, and I got some soup and, you know, peanut butter and jelly, bread, you know, those sorts of things. And so it'll be what it'll be. You know, I've got 2 dogs. So, you know, you just don't pick up and leave. It's just not that easy. We did it with Rita. Yeah, Rita. And we evacuated. And I had 2 boxers. And I thought one of my boxers was going to die. I had a friend who had a Great Dane, and her Great Dane did die. You know, the traffic was just, it took us 17 hours to go to a place that on any other given day, including traffic, would take 2.5 hours. That it took 17 hours. And then it didn't even hit us. I mean, it went further east, which meant we didn't even get the dirty side. We got home. We finally got home. We had a hard time getting home because we had taken our little RV. But the winds were still kind of big, you know, so the winds were gusty. It wasn't even raining, y'all. And we tried to leave, and the stupid awning on the side of our RV broke. And I was like, okay, got to go back. So I went back, and it was like, oh, you know, it was one of those miserable times. Anyway, we got the next morning and went home. Do you know, we weren't even without power at our house. We still had power. We had everything, internet, cable, everything. We were perfectly fine. A lot of people had fled to East Texas, and that's who got hit. East Texas got hit. My aunt got hit. And, you know, the thing is, though, when when you finally realize where landfall is going to be, you know, half the time you don't even know where landfall is going to be until it, guess what? It makes landfall. But you can get a pretty good idea. But the problem is with that is once you go, oh, you know, it's going to hit here. Well, you're not going anywhere. You know, you are staying right where you are. So, you know, they say you flee rising water and you hunker down for high wind. And most people don't do that though. And so many people here, that's how come it took us 17 hours to get, you know, 2.5 hours, is because people from way further north who had no worry at all for rising water were evacuating. And it's like, why are you evacuating? You know, there's no reason for you to evacuate. But, you know, they panicked. Maybe they're not from here or something. And so anyway, we stayed for Ike. And the eye of Ike came right over our house. I mean, right over our house. That was scary. That was very, very, very scary. Fortunately, I had boxers at that time, and they slept through it, thank goodness. But we had put wood on not all of our windows because we didn't have wood for all of our windows, but we kind of made us a little safe place. We had a 2-story home, but we made the den kind of like our little safe sanctuary, and you know, all boarded up. And I brought, you know, my boys were still living at home at the time. Brought their mattresses down, and my eldest son is a type 1 diabetic, so I had to make sure I had plenty of his supplies, and, you know, and a way to keep it, you know, cool and all that stuff. And we rode it out, and we lost power. We lost power while the sun was still out. It was like 6 p.m. the evening before. And we're sitting outside. It's just a little breezy, partly cloudy. If you didn't know there was a hurricane coming, you wouldn't know there was a hurricane coming. And our power went out. Just went out. I was like, oh, great. You know, okay. No big deal. Well, you know, everybody on our street, everybody, their power was out, you know, so you're part of it. You're there. Hurricane came, knocked everything around. And then, you know, the next day we go assess our damage, and we were so blessed we didn't have any damage. You know, we didn't lose any. We had a few little limbs that we had to pick up, but, you know, that was it. There was no, you know, roof was fine. Everything was fine. We were fine. We just didn't have power. Well, again, it's okay. Nobody else has power. And so I had a big green egg, and I was like, okay, you can cook everything in these. So I did have a gas cooktop inside, but, you know, I had all this frozen food, you know, because, well, I kept a spare freezer, and we shopped at Sam's. I had, you know, boys at home. I mean, I'm cooking pizzas and cookies and corn dogs and everything you can imagine. And we had like a neighborhood thing. People brought over whatever meats and stuff they had, and we just had ourselves a hurricane party. And that was all fine and good. It was getting hot, you know. Yeah. And then we're inside, you know, melting. And my neighbor starts yelling, yay, yay, we've got power, we've got power. And the other neighbor's like, yeah, we do too, yay, yay. We did not. We did not have power. Thank you very much. And suddenly this party was no longer fun. And of course, then they were like, oh, we're so sorry. I was like, oh, fucking schnicking. But I guess we went a whole week without power. And I was like, I can't do this. You know, I cannot do this. So I called and made reservations further down on the coast because, you know, nobody was there because, well, had been a hurricane, but that area didn't get hit, you know. So anyway, we went and rented a room there in Port Aransas. It was really nice. We had a great time, actually. We got 2 rooms, one for the boys, one for us, and we had ourselves a little hurricane. Anyway, 11 days we didn't have power. 11 days. And then finally we were giving up. We went back home because we're like, surely, you know, there's going to be power. Nope. And so my sister-in-law at the time said, well, you know, we've got power. Everybody had power but us, I swear. You know, you come stay here. We're like, okay. So we loaded up. We're going over there. And right when we're leaving our subdivision, we saw the electric company power trucks out there. And I swear they just go flip a switch and bam. Well, it was like, I think we got power. We drove back home. We had power. So really and truly, the only thing that I worry about with the hurricane is losing power. Because it's hot, people. It is hot. And you can't even like sleep with your windows open because that hurricane, those storm surges brings out those god-awful salt marsh mosquitoes, and they will eat you alive. I mean, those things are horrible, horrible. So you can't even sleep with the window open, you know, to get a cross breeze or anything. So that's my biggest thing. And then of course I do worry about, not really worried about flooding here. I mean, it's a newer house. Well, it's a new house, and the subdivision though was here for Harvey, which wasn't that for us was a storm surge and rain. I mean, it was such a rain event. You know, it flooded a lot down here, but it didn't flood this neighborhood. So that's kind of like the hallmark. If you didn't flood during Harvey, you probably aren't going to flood. So hopefully we wouldn't have to flood, because I have a one-story house now, so there's no moving stuff upstairs. Everything would be gone. And then of course you have to worry about the tornadoes that spin off. But I think, well, if, you know, I guess I'd rather it flood as long as it wasn't, you know, feet of water, because then I could go save my diamond paintings, you know. I could move them all up on the shelf. But if the roof blows off, well, we're sunk. So, I know, isn't it crazy? I'm worried about diamond paintings. Well, actually, I'm worried about, can you see that? Oh, can you see this drill here? These are, well, let me see if I can turn it around. You probably already know this, but, come on. Can you see? I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's a little, I guess it's a tab. I call it a little tit, but anyway, it you can't have those on rounds. I mean, squares, because it'll throw off all of your drills. So, and you want your drills to be straight. So you need all of your drills to be as perfect can be. So, anyway, but the models for it show it just, you know, and it's like, oh gosh, here goes my Facebook feed, you know, and then, you know, you can't help it, because first you're like, oh, you know, it'll be, you know, it's too early to tell. Everybody just needs to calm down. It's too early to tell. But then everybody starts posting this and this and this model and that model. And you know, it's hard to tell these days what is real and what is make-believe, or, you know, AI, or, I don't know, computer graphics. And, you know, and I've got one friend that I swear that is all she posts. And it's like, surely you can tell that that is AI, that that's not real. That doesn't really exist in nature. But I don't know. Because then, you know, I'm like, oh, everything's fine, we're fine, it's all fine. And then I'm like, you know, I start saying that multiple times. I'm like, I think we're fine. I think everything's fine. I don't know, are we fine? So, but I don't know. But like I said, you know, it goes with this, like, just pretty much every place has got something, you know, that you have to deal with that you might not otherwise want to. And but I will say this: it has been extremely hot, and my experience has been when it's been really hot like that, that's when we get hurricanes, and it has been hot for a long time. We really did not get a spring. Usually we get real hot in July and August, and June was just like, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me, you know. surely, you know, July and August isn't going to be this hot or hotter, but, you know, probably. So that Gulf water heats up. So I don't know. Y'all ever been through a hurricane? I mean, sometimes those little suckers go up the East Coast and hit, you know, up there. So not everybody is, you know. Well, I mean, I guess if you lived in Wyoming or Montana or something, you're probably like, what? Hurricane, what? Weather events. That reminds me, we were in Colorado, and coming back from, I think, Utah, and we were on I-70, and we're bopping along, you know, and there's one of those streets things that goes across the highway, and it says, you know, avalanche on road, I-70 closed, and we're like, what? You know, avalanche? Isn't that something you see on Bugs Bunny? You know, it's like, what? Avalanche on a major highway? That can't be right. So we just kept driving, and well, guess what? The road was closed. I-70 was closed. It's like, oh no. So we go this other way. And I'm like, look, we can go this way. I don't know why Waze is telling us we can't, because we can. We're driving. And, well, guess what? That road was closed. There was an avalanche. And I'm like, what? You know, we're both like, avalanche? I don't understand. What does this mean? What does that mean, avalanche? Only avalanche I'd ever seen was in the cartoons. And anyway, to get to our hotel, it should have been, you know, about a 4-hour drive. So we were just going from, what was the name of that? Well, it'll come to me later. Anyway, it wasn't far, but we were just going on the other side of Denver. And I can't remember where we were coming from. I mean, if you said the name, I'd say, yep, that's it. But anyway, it doesn't matter. What should have been about a 4-hour drive turned into an 8.5-hour drive. It's just like, and okay. And what was funny now was not funny then, was when we got to the hotel, you know, we were like, oh my God, you know, we're so tired, you know, with it. Did you know that I-70's closed? There was an avalanche. And she's like, oh yeah, it was on the news last night and this morning. And it was like, what? And we were on vacation. We're not watching the news. What are you talking about? It's like, oh, it was on the news? Note to self. Watch the news when you're traveling, you know, or at least watch the weather. So, yeah, avalanche. I was like, if they had a sign up that said, you know, hurricane force winds, storm surge, turn around, don't drown, I've been like, oh, I know what that means. Come on, we got to turn around. You know, like, avalanche, for real. This is just something that Bugs Bunny or the Road Runner or, you know, one of those. So, no, thank you. I don't want avalanches. Do you live in an area where there's avalanches? Because, yeah. I know I complain about the heat, but I think I can do heat more than I can do cold. But I don't know that. I mean, I do not know that for sure, if that's accurate, but I do think so. I've never lived anywhere that got extremely cold, so I can't say, but I follow some people that live in Alaska, and I'm like, dude, it is so cold. I just like, how do you live? You know? I mean, and because, you know, it's not like they have 3 months of cold weather. You know, they've got about like our summers, you know, pretty much we have summer. But, oh, my glue dot is, let's see if I can refresh it a little bit here. Oh, it looks like it's seen better days. But, yeah, I mean, it's like 70 below zero. What? And that's in Fahrenheit. I don't know if it matters at that stage, if it's the same as Celsius or not. Probably. I don't know. I mean, at some point, you just go, oh, to heck with it. It's freaking cold. But, I mean, like, their wires just snap. You know, like, just snap. Like, no, thank you. No, thank you. But I do enjoy watching them, and I do admire their ability to overcome that stuff. You know, I sure hope that I'm going to move this down because I can't tell what you can see. And I've got this new tripod thing with a boom on it. And we'll see, because I swear when I set up the camera, it's like, okay, you know, I can see everything. I can see everything that's being worked on, which is perfect. And then I swear to you, I go and edit it. And by editing, I mean, I use that term very loosely. If I have to stop the video, you know, then I just stitch the pieces together. And I try to put like a opening, you know, picture or whatever, what have you, with some music, okay? That is my editing. But apparently I'm doing something wrong, because when I go to edit it crops. iMovie crops my silly video. And I'm like, no, don't do that. So I did a Google search, and I think it said I needed to change the aspect ratios or something. So I'm going to try that and see what happens. And then, and that's another thing. Even though it was orienting my, not the iMovie, but YouTube was making it to where it was portrait. And it was like, I wanted to take up my screen, because that's how I watch YouTube videos. So it's like, why is mine being like that? You know, stop doing that. So I'm going to try again and see. And if I can't get it to work right, I think I'll ask around some different content creators. And obviously, if you know, please let me know. I don't know, maybe I need to get my grandson involved and get him to, who was it? Was it Mary? Somebody was saying, I think it was her, that her boyfriend helps her, or does the editing and creates the thumbnails and all that. I was like, well, can you loan him out, please? So I don't really need a boyfriend. I just need somebody. Help. Just to teach me. I was like, and I'm so much of a person that I learn by doing and watching. Just reading something does not teach me. I can't. I don't learn that way very well. Unless I'm reading and doing as I'm going. It's hard for me to understand what you're telling me to do. I mean, it's like I speak English, I understand English. The words that you are saying in and of themselves Makes sense. But when they're all put together, I have no clue what you were saying. You could be talking Greek. Or trying to teach me how to do brain surgery or something. So, all right. Do I see any more of those pesky little white dots in a black square? I don't right now, but I'm sure I will here in just a second, because it happens every time, every single time. I was watching Kara's live yesterday evening, and she was talking about, you know, when you miss one, and invariably you do, and then you go to, you're like, okay, let me get it, and you go to get it, and then you're like, where the heck was it? She's like, take your tweezers and point it. And I'm like, I do that. I take my tweezers, I take my pen, or I take my tray, you know, because there's just nothing worse. And then it's like, okay, I don't see it. So you'll set the drill down, and then, you know, set it down, and then go over to place your other ones. Like, there it is again. It's like it's taunting me. Ugh. And I can't, I think some people probably wait until they get done with the section, then go back in and fill in any they missed. And I have to just do it. You know, it's like, nope, I cannot carry on. I must do it now. Anyway, I thought that was a good tip. I do that, but I thought that was a good tip as well. So are y'all on Instagram? I have Instagram. I like it. But I don't even know how to do actual videos on YouTube. So that's obvious. So obviously those little reels and stuff, I don't know how to do those either. You know, where the ladies have the nails and they're tapping everything, doing that. It's like, okay, I don't know how to do all that. Reels, I think. Yeah, I may have waited a shade late to decide to start a YouTube channel, but you know what? That's okay. I'm having fun. I hope you have fun too. I just, you know, I'd like to keep you company, and gives me someone to talk to. Because I do imagine, you know, you're sitting there diamond painting, but not everybody diamond paints. But in my mind, you are. But when I first started diamond painting, I watched the videos, and I watched them on my big TV, you know, so I could really see. And but now I just listen, and I listen on my iPad while I diamond paint. But you know, some people like to, excuse me, you know, maybe do housework, drive in a car, or whatever. I haven't done that. I don't drive in a car very much. I don't go a lot of places. I'm okay with that. It's not that I don't like going places. Well, I don't like going some places. I do not like going to the mall. Our mall's gotten dangerous. I don't like going to the grocery store just because, trying to, you know, what do you need? I don't know. I don't know. Can somebody help me, please? And I go through phases of loving to cook. See there? There's one right there. Little booger head. But now I haven't cooked in so long that pretty much, come here. I said come here. Pretty much all of my ingredients, if you will, like flour, you know, all that kind of stuff, is expired. So I just cleaned out my pantry and threw away a lot of stuff. And then we have what's called a little food pantry or a blessing box, and it's not too far from me. And people go and, you know, it's the, you know, give what you can, take what you need, you know, whatever. So, you know, I have a bad habit of going, well, you know, but I may. And it's like, Leanne, this has been in your pantry for a year. It's going to expire in August. Now, you haven't fixed this in a year. What are the chances that you're going to fix it in the next month? Real slim. So how about you donate it? Perhaps somebody else could use it. Ah, well, there you go. And I want you to know, I bought some reusable grocery bags from Amazon, and they're big. They're very big. And I filled up 3 of them and took it down there. So now my pantry's all nice and clean. And pretty much what's in my pantry are chips, pretzels, goldfish crackers, and cookies. Yeah. It's like, okay. I do have some soup and, you know, and peanut butter, and I did order a couple little canned goods, nothing crazy, just something to keep us through hurricane season. And you know, I ordered a loaf of bread, and I'll probably put that in the freezer because I don't need it right now. It'll go stale in a week. I do not like stale bread. This is another color I don't really care for in this kit. It's 820. It's got a lot of tabs and stuff as well. It doesn't fit very well either. But it is necessary. And there's a lot of it. There is a lot of trash in it too, though. I don't know. Some drill colors, I should say, tend to have more trash than others. Usually it is 310 and 3371. And I have noticed 939, although I don't know that I've done a lot of kits that have a lot of 939 in them. But when I have, it's like, okay, they have a little bit more trash. And I don't know that I've had this much 820 in anything. I don't know. I don't think so, though. I don't think so. Oh, hey, did y'all order any of the mini dazzles from Diamond Art Club yesterday? I did. I ordered all 4 of them. Of course, it's going to be too late for 4th of July because they're not even going to ship till after the 4th, but that's okay. I mean, I'll have them, and I will. I mean, they'll work for, be cool for Labor Day. Actually, they'll be cool for summer, honestly. But you know, they'll be cool for Memorial Days and Labor Days and Flag Days and 4th of July days and all the things. All the things. So, for those of you that are in the States and do celebrate 4th of July, what do y'all do? Or what are you going to do, I should say, because, you know, I'm not doing anything. We're not doing anything. Try to keep my pups from, you know, having a conniption. And that's it. I don't plan on doing anything. My youngest son is in the fire department, and he's working that night. I'm like, oh, great. I hope nobody sets themselves on fire or anything. He had, you know, he's, how old is he? He was born in 91, so he just turned 33 in January. So, you know, he is a grown man. And he knows that, but I seem to forget that. And there had been a fatality, a motorcycle. Well, that he was missing, and his family was able to ping his phone and locate him. And he had went off a bridge over here. And I was like, oh my God, that is just horrific. And he was a young guy, you know, I mean, not, you know, I don't know how old he was, but he was not an older guy. I mean, he lived at home. And so I sent a text to my son, well, to all of us that live here in the same little town that I do, just to give them a heads up, because they had the whole roadway closed, and it's a pretty major roadway. And he said, I know we're working it right now, and but they just released us. And I mean, as soon as he told me that, I immediately like, no, I don't want you around that kind of stuff. I shield you from the horrors, And I said, son, are you okay? And he said, yeah. He said, it's heartbreaking though, to hear his family. And I'm like, oh, and then I just started crying because, oh God, as a parent, you're absolute horrible, that's the thing that gives me anxiety. That's the things that, I just, you're going to have to take me too, Jesus. I can't imagine. And like I said, I was just upset for him. And so I was like, well, if you need a hug, But what I wanted to go hug him, but I didn't want to say that, But anyway, fortunately, he's got the guys, and they work it out, and which makes me happy. He has somebody that he can talk to. I mean, obviously he could talk to us, but it's not the same thing. It's not the same. You really want to talk to, your peers. So, and I get that. But I still worry. And I worry about him because he's the only one I have that's single. My daughter's married and has a couple of kids. And so if something happened to her, her husband would call me. And then my eldest son, he lives with his, I think at this point they are common law. So she's not really a girlfriend. But anyway, they've been together for many years now. And, so I know something happens to him, she'll call me, but I worry about him. And it's trying to get that through his head is like, son, if I don't hear from you, then, yes, I think, okay, it's no big deal. He's probably busy. And then that little creeping thought kicks into my head. What if he slipped and fell in the shower? Or what if somebody broke in? What if? And it's just, and then I'm losing my mind. I'm just losing my mind. I'm like, please, you just text, Mom, I'm fine. That's it. Everything is hunky dory. Okay, great. Carry on. But he's like, Mom, I'm fine. I'm a grown man. I get that. I get that you're a grown man, but see, he's not had kids. And that's really something you don't understand until you have kids, or until you love a kid that, that if something happened to them, you would just, you just can't even go there. You just can't even go there. So, he told me today he was we had lunch, and he said he was gonna go jogging, and I've already mentioned how hot it is, and I was like, son, it's too hot. He's like, Mom, I'll be fine. I'm like, it's too hot. You're gonna have a heat stroke. I hydrate, but it's still too hot. And I said, why don't you go to the mall and be a mall walker? Which I really said just kiddingly. But then I started laughing, and then I went, wait, no, it's dangerous at the mall. Somebody will mug you. I said, why can't you just go home and stay in the AC? He's just like, ugh. I try not to get on his nerves, but yeah, I probably do. But you know what? I can tell you for a fact that one day he's going to miss that, because we all do. And when you look around and you realize nobody else really cares about you the way your mother does. But anyway, Well, we're coming along, guys. We are coming along here. This kid's taking me longer than I thought it would. I forget when I started it. But, oh wait, I got it written down. I started it on June 21st. So, I'd like to finish it for July, if at all possible, but we'll see. That's another thing. In addition to hurricanes, I have jury duty on Monday. So I don't know. You know, assuming that the storm doesn't affect us at all, then I'll have jury duty. And the way it works here is you show up, everybody who gets called shows up to one spot, and then you fill out your questionnaire, blah, blah, blah. But then you either get picked for a trial or you sit there until a certain time. You know, they're trying to, get people for juries. So you sit there, and if your number doesn't get called, then you get to go home. But then you go home, and in the evening, you call this number, and it tells you whether or not you need to show up the next day. You know, it depends on the docket, if they got enough cases. So if it says, nope, you do not have to come in, then you stay home and you do that again. That goes on for a week. It goes on for a week. So come Thursday evening, if they say, you don't come in for Friday, then you're done. You're done. And I think you're done for 2 years. You don't have to, you won't get called back for 2 years. I think that's how that works. But if you get picked for a jury, let's say you get picked on Monday, then you're part of the jury until the trial is over. So, yeah. And I want to do my duty because I do feel like, I've been on a jury before, and it's very hard. It's very hard on felony. I was on a felony case, and it is very hard. Because, sometimes you gotta say, I'm sorry, dude, but, because I do have empathy for people, but at the same time, it's like, you can't go around shooting at people or whatever. You just can't. I wish you hadn't have done that. It's kind of like with your kid. I wish you hadn't have done that. I wish you hadn't made me do this. But anyway, so it'll be interesting to see, because I think we should know something about this hurricane by this weekend. So, yeah. So it'll be interesting because, if it's still, I don't know. I don't know if on Friday, unless we have some more definite things, I don't know that, if they'll call it and say, no, we're canceling jury duty and rescheduling it. This will be my third time to reschedule because, the first time I was going to be on vacation. So rescheduled it, and then I got COVID. Reschedule it to now. And she was like, we can't reschedule it, but I think it's different if they reschedule it. But my birthday is in 1 month from today, and I swear, I hope I'm not down there for that, for my birthday. But it's okay. It's no big deal. Jury duty is important. We are a nation of laws. Everybody deserves a fair trial. So the only way for that to happen is for people to sit on juries. So first time I got called in this county that I'm in here, I got called for jury duty. It was for grand jury duty. And oh Lord, I had a trip planned then too. And it was a big one. And I was like, I can't. I went to the judge. I was like, I have a trip. And he was like, yeah, well, that's not an excuse. And I'm like, what? And So then they asked people, look, see, I'm missing one. Oh, crikey. Where's the other? Oh, 3, 4, 5. They said, you know, first we're going to take volunteers. Who wants to be on the jury, you know, grand jury? And several people volunteered. I was like, oh, thank you, Lord. And then they put the rest of us in a hat. And I did not get called, but one of my neighbors, a friend of mine's neighbor was there, so I knew him. And he got picked for grand jury. So he got to tell me all about it. But, you know, 3 months, one day every Thursday for 3 months, he had to go all the way down there. And they would hear cases, you know, to whether they should go to trial or not go to trial. So anyway, he said it was quite interesting, but, you know, every Thursday for 3 months, oh my gosh. He said pretty much everybody who came up there, if they said, you know, should they go to trial? Yeah. You know, you don't have to have much evidence to say something should, you know, go to trial. So you see these here, these little stragglers? This is what I'm talking about. There's nothing wrong with these drills. It's just they don't belong here. So I just put them in the trash. So they're not technically trash. And I don't know that they came from Francesca's or if they got mixed up with some other drills. You know, I'm kind of haphazard with that stuff. But anyway, let's see. I'm getting kind of hungry. What time is it? Oh, goodness, it's getting late. I guess I better go ahead and get off here, see if it's even usable. Who knows? Who knows anymore, right? But I still feel the same way. I still want to hear your feedback. I want to hear, you know, if you got positive things to say, I want to hear that. If you've got constructive criticism, I want to hear that. If you got tips and tricks, please let me know. I'm all ears. And when I tell you that it means the world to me that you're here, it really does. And I really hope you give me a thumbs up because, you know, I've heard that all of that stuff, subscribers, thumbs up, comments, all that stuff helps with YouTube. But I can assure you, even if it doesn't help with YouTube, it helps with me. It makes me feel good. And so if you're looking for a random act of kindness, pick me. Anyway, all right, everybody. It's been fun, and I hope I kept you company for a little bit. Let me know what you were doing. Were you diamond painting? Were you doing something else? If you were diamond painting, what were you working on? If you were doing something else, what was it? You know, if you want to share, you don't have to, obviously. Anyway, I hope you do, though. Stick around and stick with me, and I think we could have some fun here. So anyway, with that being said, I appreciate y'all, and I hope y'all have a wonderfully blessed day, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.